This episode of A Bit Niche contains discussions of sexual abuse and eating disorders. Please take care while listening.
Do you want this?
She's clearly also never given someone drugs.
You want one of these?
Yeah.
What? You've seriously never rolled before?
Seriously never rolled before? Oh my god.
So she's trying to offer her MDMA.
Yeah. Or Molly or ecstasy.
Yeah.
As it's colloquially known.
Colloquially known. On the streets, we call it
the streets.
ecstasy.
E.
Then what's
Must be the weed. It must be the E. You get it poppin' now. You get it poppin'. Oh,
why you so obsessed with me?
boy, I wanna know. It's a bit niche. I think we've been trained for years and years to hold.
Well, for this
This
role,
position.
we have been training for a year.
Yeah.
Grueling.
Me, Natalie Portman,
And me, Natalie Portman,
together have been training.
for over a year. 8 hours a day. It was grueling.
But we are ballerinas. That's about it.
Welcome back to A Bit Niche.
It's a bit niche.
It's a bit niche. You guys singing our theme song yet?
I know it's catching on. I know it's catching on. I've heard it around town.
I've heard it on the streets, and I'm like, oh no. Like,
It's like so embarrassing how much people are starting to notice us and stuff, like in the community,
we're just really grateful.
for all the support.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And I know you already know this, but I'm Abby.
And I'm Laurel.
And of course, this is
A Bit Niche. And today we're talking about Black Swan, which is actually the first kind of serious movie I think we've done.
Correct.
But we'll make it fun.
Oh, we always do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, well, you're shocked that, again, I have not seen this.
Hadn't.
Yeah, well,
At the
yeah.
time.
Now I
Yeah.
have, of course.
Of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
but yeah, I have not seen it, so
let's hear what you thought.
Girls, gays, everything in between and outside. Folks, we've got some predictions.
surprise, surprise, I'm back again. It's me. I'm the problem, it's me. Starting off with what I know about Black Swan.
You had to look up at the...
I had to make sure. I often forget movie titles, names, etc. So if you haven't picked that up yet, you're not listening enough. What I know, I wrote that it's about ballerinas and that it's Natalie Portman. I'm looking at the screen right now because we're about to watch the movie together, and it is correct. It's Natalie Portman. So I deserve praise. I'm going to think that, like, is she both swans? Is that a thing? That doesn't really make sense. And I know it's a really dark movie, but I didn't know it was, like, super scary, but Laurel did inform me that it is kind of like a scary movie. Not a scary movie, but horror? Thrillers,
Do you
mystery,
want me
and
to say
suspense.
anything during this?
What would you say?
Nothing. Just go.
I'm sure we'll talk about it during the actual podcast.
Right.
So I also do think it's going to be good, just because I think it got a lot of awards, and it's a few people I know is like one of their top movies. So I do think I'll like it, but I have no idea what actually happens besides the fact that it's about ballerinas. I know we're not surprised. I don't have any real guesses about what will happen. I did think maybe the ballerina is facing a hard time or something. I was thinking that maybe she wants to die. But like the big show is coming up, you know, she's training for that. Is the show Black Swan?
So,
Let me just stop before you go.
well, the ballet that they're doing is Swan Lake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yep. Okay. I'm just going to stop there before I say anything else stupid.
Back to the show.
And now, back to the show.
Okay, so we'll obviously talk about your reactions throughout when we just kind of give a whole recap of the movie. Mm-hmm. But I want to know, because this is one of my all-time favorite movies, did you like it?
Yeah, and I was thinking about how I was going to answer this. I think I need to start with what the fuck was that? And yeah, I guess I liked it. Yeah?
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Because it's like a psychological thriller.
Right.
So it's supposed to kind of fuck with your mind.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Yeah.
I'm questioning a lot.
I was talking to Max before we had watched it, and he was like, oh, I know you love this movie. Do you think Abby's going to love it? I was like, well, my prediction is that she's just going to say, what the fuck, 80 times. And I was right. Correctly. I was right.
Yeah, that was a spot on prediction because I don't know what to say.
I think you have a lot to say.
No, I do. Looping back, circling back a little bit, one thing I am sure of is our ballet experience. Do we want to talk about that first?
I think we should.
Just to really set the scene for why we're experts beyond just the film and cinematography, but that we also know each facet of this film specifically.
Exactly. We're fans of the movie, obviously, but I think it's time that we let you guys know that we are... You already know we're triple threats, but in our dance experience, we're actually classically trained.
Yes. For months.
When did we go to our first adult ballet class? Well, you went before me.
Right. Only a few times. So
we've been a few times to an adult. Are we beginner or intro?
I think now we're beginner because get this. There was people complaining in the class that the choreo and the moves, the things at the bar were too hard. That was not us. So they bumped us up to beginner and they had to create for the newbies. Yes, this is a true story. Okay, maybe they didn't bump us up. They just kept us at the current level and then they made it.
Only us two. Only us two.
Well, yeah.
So they're like, no, you guys stay at this level. We'll bump everyone else down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I heard when they told me that they're creating an intro class and that, if you like this level, that you should stay at beginner. That's all I heard was that we're getting bumped up and they're getting bumped down.
Right. So the losers went down to the intro.
Yeah.
And we're beginners.
In the beginners class, we don't go weekly. We like to give the understudies a chance to shine.
Like point shoes.
Oh, of course we have to talk about point shoes.
All right, look, we don't like to bring down other women.
No, never.
And like
unless they deserve it.
Well, and here's the thing. Everybody, this isn't not intro. This is beginner ballet.
Look, at that point was just intro.
I did buy some special shoes for it.
But this is what everyone wears.
Like the soft...
Except for me and like two other people. So.
Yeah, like the, soft malleable.
Sole. Yeah.
Basically just glorified socks. Mm-hmm. We get in... No, you weren't even there.
No,
it was
not the first time.
And that was the class where I was horrible, too.
Never.
The one time.
Never been horrible.
But
it was an off day.
Yeah. This is my first time going to a dance class without Abby. So my social anxiety is already high. And then I see a woman walk in and she takes out point shoes. And they've obviously never been used.
Never.
And look, we know a lot about ballet. So we know that you need to like break your point shoes. You need to sew them to fit your feet. She's like pulling them straight out of the plastic bag.
Yes.
So I'm like, this woman's going to break her ankle. But she is confident as all hell. And I really want to channel point shoes. We call her point shoes. I want to channel her confidence so bad.
Yeah.
And it's not even that. That's not why I'm making fun of her, is her point shoes. It's the fact that everybody's like setting up and we have our little individual bars. And she goes from the back of the room, the back of the studio, she goes, can everyone move downstage? And everyone's just kind of like,
The fuck?
it's kind of like, what? She goes, towards the mirrors. And then everyone's like, all right, fine. So then everyone starts moving up. She's like, that's enough. You don't need to crowd. I'm like, is she the teacher? No, she stays at the back of the room.
Like, chill out, girlfriend.
Yeah. I mean, I was honestly scared that she was going to break her ankle.
Yeah.
That's the thing is because, like, you need to work up to point shoes. You have to, like, earn your point shoes.
Right.
And she was a beginner
And
in point shoes.
no one in beginner or even our intermediate adult ballet classes in Milwaukee, Wisconsin should be on point. No.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Probably not.
No.
I was surprised the instructor, like, let her do
that. Yeah.
seems dangerous, right? What do we know? What do we know?
Right. A lot.
I mean, clearly.
We're going to tell you we know.
Yes. So anyways, that's a little background about our ballet experience.
Wait, we need to tell them that, like, we've also been featured.
Yeah. If you want to see our work,
Yeah.
we have actually been featured on our dance company's social media.
Yes. In the video, you'll see that they're describing the types of classes you can take at our company. We're really open to all levels. levels of dancing. So even if you...
It's a really approachable
even
environment.
If you're intimidated by us,
it's okay.
don't be, okay?
Just watch us while we're dancing and you can follow along.
Yeah, exactly. But in this video, it says, we accept anyone from beginner to semi-pro. And when it says semi-pro, who does it pan to? Us. And I don't think that's a coincidence that the videographer did that.
Nope.
And
like, imagine if we committed ourselves to this because we only go like maybe twice a month.
Exactly.
And we're already semi-pro.
Right. Like,
watch out, world.
Oh, man.
So that's our background.
Yeah. Just had to set the scene for, like, obviously our obvious credibility.
Right.
So.
Well, should we talk about the movie? Should we talk about the...
No.
I know.
No, I did actually. I know I said I guess I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's obviously just kind of a mind fuck and a what the fuck. So, yeah, I think we should get into the old plot.
Yeah. And we know famously, the plot is not for Abby. Abby's not for the plot.
No, I immediately said this is yours to discuss.
Yeah.
You got this one, kid.
So I'll run through the plot. I'll run through the plot. And Abby, just interject when you have something to say.
Oh, I will.
I know. Okay. So the main character is played by Natalie Portman. She's a young-ish ballet dancer for the New York City Ballet. And she's very up and coming. She's a very good dancer. She's obsessed with perfection. And it's the start of the ballet season. And they're putting on Swan Lake, a very famous ballet. And she really wants to be the Swan Queen.
I'm the Swan Queen.
That's right. And this director who's coming in and doing it, he's like, we were going to make this really edgy and different. And whoever plays the white swan is going to play the black swan too. So you have to be the like virginal, very pure white swan. But then you have to switch and you have to be really sexy and dangerous and be the black swan. But then you have to switch back to the white swan at the end and you have to kill yourself. So... in auditions, Natalie Portman's character is like the perfect white swan. And she wants to be the Swan Queen so bad. And the director basically tells her, you are the perfect white swan, but I don't see the black swan in you. You
No,
have zero sex appeal. No one wants to fuck you. I wouldn't even fuck you. And then he like
no one would.
basically forces himself on her and he's like, see,
Yeah.
I had to seduce you. You're supposed to be seducing me. But anyways, she goes to his office to try and convince him that she should be the Swan Queen. And then he forcibly kisses her. She bites him. A good honor.
Yeah.
And he goes,
Proud of her.
what the fuck? What are you doing? But then that makes her get the role because he's like, I like that fire.
Yeah, he could see the fire in her that he had not seen before. Which, okay.
Yeah. And underlying all of this is a lot of drama just kind of within the dance company.
Yeah.
All the dancers are pretty like bitchy and competitive towards each other.
Just like we are in our company, obviously.
Exactly.
As you
point shoes.
heard.
God.
Ugh. Women support women.
And the kind of titular prima donna.
Yes.
Prima donna, who's now being ousted by Natalie Portman's character. Her name is Beth, and she's always been like the star child.
Yes.
The director, Thomas, is his name.
Thomas.
Thomas has always called her his little princess. And like has been obsessed with her, but now he's decided that she's too old
Yeah.
and Natalie Portman's taking her place. So at the gala where Thomas is introducing Natalie Portman, and he's like, oh, but we love our little princess too, and like she'll be retiring. And Beth is played by Winona Ryder.
Love her.
Beth gets shit-faced.
Yeah, she
and
does.
she's like, fuck you, Thomas. Natalie Portman, you're a whore.
Yeah, you must have sucked his cock.
And she says, not all of us have to.
Bam!
So anyways, it starts getting kind of weird then.
Right?
Yeah, Beth gets hit by a car that night.
That's a little fishy to me.
Yeah, so she's now out of dance probably for the rest of her life.
Yeah, out of walking, likely.
Yeah, it was really bad, yeah.
Those cars.
Back at the dance company, they're in rehearsals. A new dancer shows up. Mila Kunis plays Lily. Lily. And she's like the epitome of the Black Swan. She's super free, uninhibited. She's raw. She's rough around the edges. She's really sexy. And there she is. And Thomas is like, see, Nina. Nina's Natalie Portman. This is what you need to learn how to channel. And she's like, well, I'm fucking trying.
Literally.
Yeah, this is the best I can do. And she's so obsessed with perfection, she just can't figure it out. And to make matters worse, she still lives at home with her mom.
Oh, don't
Which-
get me started.
Look, that fact in its own isn't horrible.
No.
But her mom is probably the most, like, it's so weird. It's smothering, but in a way that's so emotionally abusive and
Yes.
controlling.
Yes.
Yeah, so her mother was also a ballerina back in the day. And she gave up ballet because she got pregnant with Nina.
Yeah.
And now she's obsessed with Nina becoming the best ballerina
Correct.
ever.
Yeah, living vicariously through her daughter.
Yeah.
Always super healthy.
Do you have anything to add about the mom?
Yeah. Fuck her. She's whack. I hate that bitch. She's so condescending. The way she just like continues to turn a blind eye to all of her daughters, like very harmful behaviors. You know, her reactions to like then her daughter's stuff, like not eating the cake. Oh, God. And like just how she literally, and maybe this is obviously a little bit Nina too. I just thought like it made the creepy factor like amped up, but like she's in her what seems to be a childhood bedroom with the same stuffed animals, the same dolls, like the same pink like thing you would have in middle school.
Yeah, it's like a time capsule.
Yeah.
And her mom's trying to keep her this little girl.
Yes. Like, and yeah, her mom is just always in her business. When Lily ends up coming over to like apologize, and then she ends up coming out with her and stuff. That whole interaction and stuff where she's like not letting her talk to a friend. Weird. She cuts her nails for her and she's just so obsessed with like the rash. Like, I get it. You're going to, have concern for a medical thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's just so weird. And none of it is as weird as when she sleeps in her daughter's room.
Yeah.
And of all things, well, this also goes into Toma.
Right. So throughout the film, too, you'll see Nina start to unravel. And she's become so obsessed with the perfection of this role that physically and mentally she's deteriorating.
Yeah.
So she starts developing this rash on her shoulder that's like bumpy, looks like goosebumps. Little things start kind of pricking out, but she's trying to decide or figure out like if she's hurting herself, if something's happening to her. She gets visions of her like tearing skin off of her hands. And anyway, she wants to do everything that she can to make this role work. Toma invites Nina over to his house. He's like, just come over for a drink. And at first you think like, oh no, like he's gonna
Do something for sure.
Right. And luckily he doesn't touch her, but still not okay.
No.
Because he starts asking her about if she's had any boyfriends and her sex life and if she's a virgin.
If she enjoys sex, like, does she touch herself?
Yeah. And she's like, I don't really feel comfortable talking about this. He's like, no, we have to talk about these things.
Yeah, you should be comfortable. We should have no boundaries between the two of us.
He literally said that. We should have no boundaries.
Yeah.
Red flag in any situation.
Yeah.
And he, she's still kind of like skeeved out and he goes, all right, here's your homework assignment. Go home and touch yourself. Just do it. And then maybe that'll help.
Like, the fuck? And like, what, report back?
Yeah. Or
Excuse me?
He'll be like, I'll know if you did it if you're better at dance tomorrow. Like, are you kidding me? So anyway, she goes back home.
Yeah.
And her mom's like, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Let me help you take off your dress from the gala.
Yeah.
And she sees that Nina has all these scratch marks. So then she forcibly cuts Nina's nails. Yeah. And then it cuts to Nina waking up in her childhood bed. And there's a whole scene of her touching herself. And it's really awkward.
Yeah, and it's intense for her. Like,
yeah. And she's right, like,
I shouldn't be watching that.
Right. It feels very private.
Oh, yeah, as it should be.
Yeah. And especially because she's like in her childhood bedroom too. It's just like, I shouldn't be watching it.
Yeah.
But she's like right on the precipice of being done
Coming.
with yeah. Yeah. And she turns over and her mom's asleep next to the bed. And she didn't see her mom until then.
Fucked up.
And, yeah. And then she like gasps and panics and like goes under the covers. Like, can you imagine? That's just
traumatizing.
Yeah. So she tried to do her homework.
Yeah.
Credit to her.
Why is the mom in the fucking...
Yeah, probably biggest boner killer ever.
Yeah. Your mom? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Ugh, the mom's just...
Yeah. So... Nina, she's getting these, the injuries are getting worse. Her hallucinations are getting worse. Yeah. She's, concerned that she's not going to be able to cut it for the final night because the final night being the opening night. Sorry, not final night.
Yeah.
She's afraid she's not going to cut it for the opening night of Swan Lake because she can't channel fucking Black Swan, man.
All this. Can't do it.
And she thinks that Lily is fucking with her.
Yeah.
Because Lily tried to, like, level with her.
Right.
When Toma was being really rough on Nina. And apparently then Lily, who's a fucking bitch, dude.
Yeah.
She told Toma, like, to go easier on Nina.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. So then Nina kind of confronts Lily. And she's like, just stop talking about me. Like, leave me alone. You shouldn't have done that. Whatever. Later that night, Lily shows up to Nina's house.
Yes.
And first off, Mom tries to be like, oh, it was nobody at the door. Don't worry.
Right. Fucking weirdo.
Yeah. And Nina pushes past her and is like, oh my God, it's fucking Lily.
Lily, yeah.
Fucking Lily.
It's literally Lily.
Yeah. And Lily apologizes. And she's like, do you want to go out and get a drink? And of course... Mom is like, oh, no, you don't.
You're on stage tomorrow.
Yep. And Nina says, fuck you. I'm going to go out for the first time in my life.
Yep.
And that's where it really goes downhill.
Yeah.
So Lily takes Nina out to the bars. And Nina goes to the bathroom. She comes back out and before that. They're sitting down and drinking and talking, and Lily's like, "Oh, do you want?" Well, wait, we never figured out what it is. We're not druggies.
So I think we decided it's either like ecstasy or Molly.
If you're rolling,
Yeah.
is that Molly?
Molly?
Then what's ecstasy?
Molly and ecstasy are the same thing.
No.
Yes.
Snacked Audio, can you please fact check that? So I almost said that to you yesterday, but I was like, no, that can't be right. Molly and ecstasy are different things.
Right.
But I think like Molly is maybe you are right, and it's more of like a modern thing, but I don't think
Ecstasy
they
and
are.
Molly are the street names for the drug MDMA.
MDMA.
I thought that was a different thing too.
Yeah.
All right, so
All the same thing.
all this to show we don't do drugs.
And you shouldn't either. But
Dare to say no to drugs. But anyway, she's like, oh, do you want this?
she's clearly also never given someone drugs.
You want one of these? Yeah. What you've seriously never rolled before?
Seriously never rolled before? Oh my god.
So she's trying to offer her MDMA.
Yeah. Or Molly or ecstasy.
Yeah.
As it's colloquially known.
Colloquially
known.
On the streets, we call
On
it
the streets.
ecstasy.
E.
Then what's
Must be the weed.
What's E?
It must be the E. You get poppin' now. You get it poppin'.
oh, why you so obsessed with me?
Boy, I wanna know.
So she's like, it'll last 2 hours tops. You'll be fine.
You're good.
And Nina's like, nah, I'm good. She goes to the bathroom. She comes back, or she's on her way back, and she literally sees Lily drugging her drink.
Yeah.
And Lily sees that she's caught, and she's like, hey, come dance, come drink. We're gonna have so much fun. And oh, she's so mean too. Nina's like, oh no, it's okay. I really shouldn't. And Lily goes, what, are you gonna go home to mommy?
Yeah.
So then she gives into peer pressure. And even though she knows there's Molly in the drink, she drinks it. She gets really high. They both do. And they dance all night. She comes to and she's making out with a dude in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then they go back home to Nina's house. And Mom's upset.
Mom's fucking pissed.
Mom's pissed. She's like, where the fuck have you been? Oh, wait, what did she say?
Yeah, I haven't.
You liked this part.
Yeah, I know. I fucking loved it.
She goes,
I have
where
it
have you
written
been?
down. To the moon and back.
And as she says it, Lily's
Right?
mouthing it like they practiced it. To the moon
Yep,
and back.
it is to the moon and back. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just love that. Yeah, like Lily is mouthing. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So funny.
So yeah, then they get into a fight because she is like, there are all these guys and I fucked all of them at the club. And their mom slaps her.
Yeah.
And yeah, then Nina locks her out of her room. And then Nina and Lily have gay sex.
Not straight sex.
No. Famously gay. They have some sex. And
Yeah, some sex. So they have sex and then they, fall asleep, whatever. And then the scene immediately after that is Nina waking up and she looks at the clock and is like, oh shit, I'm late for rehearsal. And she's running, putting on her clothes, whatever, and running out the door. And as she's running by, her mom's like just sitting there, like on the little like couch or whatever, staring at her. And she's like, why the fuck didn't you wake me up? Like, and I don't even know if her mom says anything back.
She's just like hurt.
Yeah. And then that's when she gets to rehearsal and Lily is playing Black Swan because Thomas wanted her to step in for the role or whatever. And then obviously in Nina's head, they just fucked and Lily was a bitch and left and didn't wake her up even though they were going to the same rehearsal. So I'm rightfully so like, what the fuck? Her mom and like Lily didn't wake her up? Like, ugh. But obviously thinking that's Lily's plan all along. But then Lily says, I was never at your house. That never happened. Like, did you have, I think she says, like, a lesbian wet dream about me or something?
She's like, you did. That's so cute. Was I good?
Yeah.
And she's such a bitch about it, too. Like, she says it so loud. So then Nina's freaking the fuck out.
Right.
Because she's like, did I just imagine all of that? And she goes home, and her mom freaks out a little bit, too. I mean, they both freak out.
Yeah.
So then the night before, her mom basically locks Nina in her room. And Nina wakes up and she's like, where's my clock? I got to get to the theater. It's opening night.
Right.
And her mom's like, you're not well. You can't perform. I already called them and told them that you're not coming. And she's like, the fuck you did? And she basically like pushes her mom down and she's like, you can't do this. I'm the Swan Queen.
I'm the Swan Queen.
I'm the Swan Queen. It's my turn.
We're really starting to just fully see the Black Swan.
Yeah, it's coming out. Yeah. So she gets to the theater. Lily's already in costume and Nina's like, no.
Nina.
I'm doing this. Or, what?
Nina.
Nina.
Just keep going.
Okay. Nina's like, no, I'm doing it, blah, blah, blah. First act, she's White Swan. It's kind of a fucking mess.
Yeah.
She, like, gets distracted during a lift.
Because she's seeing, like, 7 of herself. Or, sorry, and 1 other of herself.
Yes. She's hallucinating this whole time and freaking out. She causes the prince to drop her. Also, the prince gives us absolutely nothing this whole movie.
Like, Nina gets bitched at constantly, but that man
does absolutely nothing.
Like, his face is, meh, his dancing is obviously incredible,
Whatever.
whatever. But, like,
Yeah,
where are his corrections?
Exactly.
Where are his assaults?
Yeah. Who's assaulting the prince?
No one. We need to advocate
Justice.
for assaulting the prince. Oh, my God.
So then after the first act, Nina goes back to her dressing room to find Lily already in the Black Swan costume. And she's like, what are you doing? And Lily's like, you're fucking up. You need to rest. I got this
I'm
from
going
here.
in.
And shit hits the wall.
Oh,
they
literally
fight.
the wall.
Yeah. They fight. They break a mirror. And then Nina takes the broken mirror and stabs Lily in the stomach. And she says, it's my fucking turn.
Yeah. That was insane.
That was crazy. And then she kind of comes to and she's like, oh my God.
I just
What?
literally stabbed a bitch.
Yeah. But she goes on as Black Swan and she fucking kills it. She emotes. She embodies the darkness and the sex appeal and the want. And she's incredible. She literally dances for like 30 seconds and she walks off stage and gets a standing ovation in like the middle of the ballet. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
She runs off stage and kisses Thomas.
Yeah.
Gross.
Ugh.
But she's just feral at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Then
She murdered it, figuratively and literally.
Yeah. Then it's time for her to switch back into White Swan. So she goes back into her dressing room and she, changes the body out of the
There's
white
blood everywhere. Like
Right. And then, puts on the costume. There's a knock at the door. She opens the door. It's Lily. Lily's like, hey, I know things got weird, but like that was really incredible. You're amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry I was weird. And Nina's like, oh, what the fuck? She goes back, looks at where she stowed the body. Body's not there.
Nothing.
She looks down. She has a stab wound in her stomach.
Blunt force trauma.
She puts her fingers in it and pulls out a piece of mirror. What?
I'm confused.
And she looks and she's like, what do I do? I guess I still got to perform.
Yeah.
So then, and I don't understand how people don't fucking notice that she's stabbed.
Right. But also when she's on stage, it's not showing that she's stabbed.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But
the
anyway, so she does the final act. And at the very end of Swan Lake, the white swan jumps off of a cliff and kills itself. So, you know, in the play, she jumps off of a platform onto a mattress. And she does this perfect dance. She's up there. The blood is swelling. And she dives off. She dives off. Gets a standing ovation. It was beautiful.
What did she say?
Well, everybody comes and gathers around her because they're like, that was incredible, Nina. Nina, they want more of you, Nina. And then they notice the blood. And they're like, what did you do? What did you do? Nina, get help. Get help. And she just says, I was perfect.
She's dead! She's dead!
And that's the end of the movie.
And
So now,
pretty much covered it all.
yeah, you don't have to see it.
Yeah.
I think we got it.
Literally just gave it all to you. Mm-hmm. Performance of a lifetime.
Yeah. So it's an incredible movie. I really like it because every time I watch it, I notice something different.
I was going to say, one of the reasons I was kind of saying, like, I guess I like it is because I think I do need to watch it again. Mm-hmm. Am I going to? Likely no. But I do think I would like it more and more as I rewatched it. Because of that reason.
Right. Some fun behind the scenes stuff.
Ooh, let's go behind the scenes.
Okay. Ooh. Behind the scenes, behind the scenes. Draw up the curtain. What's going on back there? Back there. Behind the scenes, behind the scenes. Draw up the curtain. What's going on back there? Back there.
She wrote your jingle for you, honey.
New jingle alert.
Drop it.
Well, first of all, I'll just say it's like a visually beautiful movie. The cinematography, the camera work.
Oh, yeah.
The lighting.
Beautiful. From the first scene.
Mm-hmm. It's very intentional. You
Yeah.
can tell with like the costume too. Obviously, they're mostly in like ballet clothes the entire time because they're rehearsing and everything.
Constantly.
But it's all whites and blacks and
Yes.
grays. Mm-hmm. And you'll notice throughout the film as she transfers from White Swan towards Black Swan. Midway through, she starts, in the beginning, wears basically all white.
Yeah, it's like very like just hyper feminine,
Very
light,
pure, perfect.
perfect with her makeup down to her costuming. Even like the white feathery scarf she's
Yes.
always wearing, like
It's always just
Perfect.
like perfect.
Yeah.
And then towards the middle, she starts to wear grays. And then at the end, obviously, she's like fully crazy.
Yeah.
And wears black and everything. But it's just, you can tell every choice was so intentional.
yes. And you always get like the comparison between her generally more of like the white, pure, innocent vibe, and then Lily in like a black, dark vibe, even just in their rehearsal outfits.
Yeah.
But you can really tell when they're at the gala and she's in like the white dress, Nina's in the white dress, and then Lily is in like the black lace dress and also removes her black lace underwear in the bathroom.
Why did she do that?
With Nina there? I don't know.
Yeah. She's like, no,
Who
stay,
knows?
keep me company. What?
But yeah, it was...
Yeah. And another thing too with that, Lily always has her hair down at rehearsal.
Yes.
Which I feel like is crazy for a ballerina.
Oh, yeah.
To just be like flinging
She's
her
also
hair around.
smoking cigs, like.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
popping mollies.
popping mollies, fucking
Mollies,
everybody.
popping Molly.
Fucking everybody.
Yeah.
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 Also, throughout the entire thing, all we have shrugs all day, every day.
Because, you only need to warm the shoulders.
Yeah.
No, but it's just a really impressive movie, like from the casting standpoint too. So Natalie Portman, she won a Best Actress Oscar for this. And she did a lot of training. She trained for like a full year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and first she built up to it. So she did like a couple hours a day for the first 6 months. And then the next 6 months, she would train. She would swim a mile a day and then do 5 hours of ballet. And then she would go home and do more ballet.
God, that's insane. Like, that was one of my first questions. Like, after the first scene where she does an incredible dance, I was curious, like, how much did she do this? How much training did she do versus, like, her stunt double? Like, the dancing is beautiful. But then also, like, we'll talk about this again later, but, like, how much weight she had to lose because of how, like, literally feeble was the word that came to mind. Just, like,
she's so
thin.
gaunt. Like,
Yeah.
And I know they're trying to make her look like the stereotypical ballerina, but it's jarring. Especially there are scenes where she's practically naked.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, you can see every bump in her spine and every rib.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's true, but I read that she lived primarily off of carrots and almonds.
That, I mean, looks like it.
Yeah. Which, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Especially because she was already, like, such a skinny
She's
woman.
already tiny.
Yeah.
And she also got injured a lot while filming this movie. Partially just because it's so physically demanding and she didn't have any fucking like strength.
Yeah.
I mean, she was strong because of all the conditioning she did, but she didn't have any substance.
She's eating almonds and carrots.
Yeah, so I think she like dislocated some ribs. She like sprained her
Jeez.
ankle really bad. But she did do a lot of her own dance. Well, it's up to interpretation, but she did some of her own dancing.
Yeah.
Apparently her stunt double came out a little bit later and she was like, you know what? I feel like I have to say something because everyone thinks Natalie Portman did all her own dancing, but almost all of it was me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Spicy.
I'm going to find what she said. She said, she was so bitchy about it too. She's such a ballerina.
Oh.
She said they were trying to create this image, this facade, that Natalie had done something extraordinary, something that's pretty much impossible, to become a professional ballerina in a year and a half.
I can like see both ways, but it's like that's the literal point.
Yeah. Like you're not supposed to know
that it's not
supposed to look like the same person.
Yeah, like if that happens, if it looks like she's doing it, then the both of you are doing a good job.
Yeah. Like if you wanted to be the lead actress, audition for it.
Yeah. Like if you wanted to just be one of the other ballerinas that doesn't have any lines, because I'm sure they used actual ballerinas for a lot of those roles, or they should have. But it's kind of, unfortunately, that's the
role of a stunt double.
Yeah.
Like if you're not comfortable basically for someone else taking the credit for what you do.
Right.
Don't agree to be a stunt double.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, obviously we don't know, like, all of the stories behind, like, the training and all of that, what Natalie Portman did, like, what is true, how much she actually did. But yeah, like, that's...
And quite frankly, I don't care.
No.
Yeah, like, of course they're going to use real ballerinas in it.
Duh.
We know Natalie Portman's not, like, an actual ballerina.
Right. Like, everyone knows that. I just don't, like...
Yeah.
I don't
know. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's always going to be drama.
Always.
Yeah. Then a little bit about Lily, Mila Kunis, which I thought was kind of interesting, is that, you know, some other people auditioned for this role including Blake Lively, which I think
What?
would have been hilarious.
We can't keep relying on Blake Lively to pull off everything.
I know.
She can't.
I know. We're not going to get into all that drama, are we?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, that's another time, right?
Another time,
I
yeah.
do want to know your thoughts on it, though.
Oh, yeah. Patreon. Check out the Patreon.
Oh, yeah. And we'll break down the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni drama coming soon. Shit, when are we going to do that, though?
Whenever you subscribe.
Subscribe. Our page isn't even published yet.
No, it's not. Okay. We'll publish it, then you subscribe, then we'll release content.
Yeah.
No, view this content first. Thank you.
We'll know if you viewed this content.
We are tracking each and every one of you.
Yeah. So anyways, some other people auditioned for the role of Lily, but Natalie Portman was like, you know what? Nah, let's actually put in my good friend Mila Kunis to play Lily.
Love that.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I really do. Obviously, they could have, like, dyed Blake Lively's hair, but it had to be, I don't know. I just couldn't really see
No. Well,
someone without.
and Blake Lively's like too
super
tall.
Yeah.
Like, at least I don't think Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis look too much alike, but they have a similar like height and stature.
Correct. Yeah. Which works for
The exact purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm trying to think of anything else about Mila Kunis / Lily that I wanted to say. I feel like we kind of called out her like bitchiness and such.
Yeah.
Which happens throughout. No, I probably shouldn't say that. I was gonna say, but I also kind of like her in some regard.
See,
And it's really hard. And the part I shouldn't say is like, is that because gay?
I mean, she's really hot in it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's hard for me too, because I think this is the first time I watched it where I've realized how shitty she is.
Oh, okay.
Because I think, especially when this came out, which was like 2010, like the, kind of pick me cool girl thing was like at its height, I feel. And every time I'd watched it leading up to this, I was like, yeah, like Natalie Portman's too like uptight and be more like Mila Kunis. Like she's so free and fun and whatever. And then this time watching it and actually more listening to what she said and like her actions, I'm like, oh my God, she sucks.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, but there's still some things that I like about her at the same time.
And it's also very hard, we'll get to this at the end, knowing what is just Nina's perception or hallucinations versus what is like Lily actually doing.
Yeah.
Like, because that matters a lot.
Right.
Because some of like her things she's doing aren't actually, might not be real.
Right.
So,
which is why I think the movie's so cool, because every time you watch it too, it's like, what the fuck is real and what's not?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So cool. Before we keep talking about our interpretations of the movie, let's go back to like the serious shit.
Yeah.
Since we, as ballerinas, know so much about the industry.
Right. I think this movie, I don't fucking know. This movie's a commentary, a social commentary.
Go off.
On
on things and stuff in
society and expectations of women, especially in society and societal norms, and especially women's bodies and who owns them.
Yes.
And who can look at them and what is beauty
in society
today.
Yes. Thank you, Laurel. Good Lord. We've always got a caller. Are we recording?
Are you getting married? You guys should do OnlyFans. It's the podcast. Why don't you guys put the podcast on OnlyFans?
I mean, the
honestly,
transition would be so smooth,
yeah,
honestly.
that's like
we are
Austin's
already in bed.
ideas.
Anything else you want to say?
I look like a russet potato.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. All right.
Have you seen Black Swan?
Isn't that with Natalie Portman?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do we like Natalie Portman?
So
No.
we didn't know until tonight.
Yeah. She texted me and she's like, oh my God.
Laurel sent me a news article. I was like, I'm reading that.
Yeah. Yeah, she sent me the same thing and we were like, oh, fuck.
Well, because I had started doing research for this, and I just typed in her name, and it said actress from Israel, and I was like, oh, fuck. So then I Googled, is Natalie Portman a Zionist? And then I saw that statement.
Resounding yes.
Well, I saw that statement that I sent you, and it had a couple moments of like, she's almost there.
Yeah, she's almost there.
But that was in 2018, so then I tried to find some more recent stuff and couldn't. So anyways, we're going to say probably a no for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jury's still out on Natalie, but for now it's a no.
Yeah.
I think it's a no.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and
Bye.
all right. Okay, bye. I can't. You're going to have to hang up because I've got gloves on. Okay. All right.
Our second caller.
Wow, the calls are rushing in.
Honestly.
So we're talking about the serious
back to the
stuff,
serious
huh?
shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the world of ballet is so complex.
Yeah.
Like it looks so shiny and glamorous from the outside. Then watching this movie, I feel like it just made us both want to dig into it a little bit more.
Definitely.
So we found some stuff, everybody. You heard it here first that the world of ballet is toxic. I bet you've never heard that before.
What? That is crazy.
Yeah, we found, unsurprisingly, a lot of body shaming, a lot of bullying, both from instructors and fellow dancers.
Yeah.
A lot of verbal abuse, some like sexual abuse, as you see in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the film really does do a good job. Saying a good job is kind of like a weird way to put it, but a good job of like encapsulating all of that. And also Thomas, his character, is like an encapsulation of
all of the bad
toxicity
things
in the ballet industry.
Yeah, especially like the sexual abuse standpoint. And he masks it with like, no, but I'm trying to like help you bring out this part of your character that needs to come out.
Yeah.
But dog, you don't need to actually like stick your tongue in her mouth and touch her
Yeah.
without her consent.
No.
Yeah. So that's a big time bummer.
Huge bummer. Oh, man.
Just generally to point shoes.
Oh, that's one thing that I need to know more about.
Yeah.
I do have a couple people on TikTok I watch consistently that are ballerinas and love their videos, love their point shoe videos.
Yeah.
But it's so baffling.
Right. Because they're so like archaic in their structure, and they can cause permanent damage to your feet.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, which you also see in the movie. She breaks her toenail in half while she's practicing her turns. Is there a word for that? Nope.
Her turns.
Her turns. But yeah, you can get broken toenails, stress fractures, something called hammer toes, which is when your toes become permanently bent. So, and that's not even like the abuse part of it.
Right.
That's just you doing ballet.
Yeah, exactly, which is crazy. And probably where her like web toe hallucinations come from, because that happens during like the final performance.
Yeah, I guess we kind of forgot to say that. She like basically starts, I mean, they're hallucinations, but the rash on her back, she plucks out feathers. Like she's turning into the swan.
The swan, yeah.
And her toes are webbed. And like you see, during the second act, she actually fully gets wings.
Yeah, like that's...
Sorry, I almost...
I like it.
Um,
Moving on to eating disorders.
My favorite transition.
Oh man.
But yeah, so the eating disorder side, the eating disorder side of thing is obviously both like physical and mental.
Oh yeah.
Because ballet's notorious for instructors making either like direct comments like you're fat, or those like really pointed passive aggressive remarks like I can see your lunch and those kind of things.
Yeah,
like
or even when like she's getting measured for her costume and stuff, like the seamstress is like commenting on her like losing weight. Oh, commenting on her like, oh, good, that's good. Like,
yes. Yeah, she said you've lost weight, and Nina, you can see she just like smiles.
Yeah.
It's like she's so teeny tiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was looking up from some like real ballerinas, some of their experiences. So like one student at the Royal Ballet School in London said that when she was just 16, one of her instructors came up to her and put her in front of the mirror. And she said, if I had a knife, this is what I would cut off. And she was like cutting off her entire butt and like parts of her body. And she was like, I never recovered from that mentally.
How would you?
You can't. When you're 16, like when that's a point when your brain is so fucked up anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't imagine being in that environment all the time and then also being one of the most like elite athletes.
Yeah.
Because it's insane what these people are doing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They're so freaking strong.
It's crazy. Like,
and surviving off of like 1,200 calories a day.
Know. If that.
Yeah.
Like, and they like show it in the movie too. Like obviously there's like so many wide variety or like every type of eating disorder and things like that. Yeah. But like you see a lot in the movie, like people purging and stuff. Like I feel like, yeah, it's just so unhealthy in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, and especially like with Nina too, it shows her purging a few times and you can tell that a couple of the times it's because like of the kind of binge purge cycle, but then other times it's because of like the stress.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's fucks with you so much, and it's just like a constant mind game of them being told that every day is an audition, and like if you're not good enough today, it'll affect you 3 months from now because you're not gonna make it. Yeah. Like I can't.
And I think with ballet too, there's such like a timeline on it. I think similar to like gymnastics and just dance in general. Like, I mean, all sports, obviously there's an end to when you're going to be an elite athlete, but like specifically with like women and in ballet and dance and gymnastics, like the end of it at like 25. Like your peak is when you're so young.
Well, and I think they really kind of try and point that out with Beth.
Oh, yeah.
Because even in the beginning, before we even meet or see Beth, the ballerinas are talking about her and they're like, oh, like she's so geriatric. Yeah. Like when will she just retire? And Nina defends her. She's like, she's only 30 or like 31.
Right.
And she's like, she's such a beautiful dancer. And one of the other ballerina goes, she's like, yeah, so is my grandma. Yeah.
God.
It's wild that like you work that hard your whole life. And then by the time you reach like 30, your career could be over like that, if not sooner.
Yeah.
Unless you're really lucky.
Exactly. Yeah. And even when she's speaking to her mom and her mom talks about how she gave up her career to have her, and Nina's response is like, what are you talking about? You didn't give up anything. You were 28. Like your career was over. Like 28. And it's like, yes, you're obviously, as your body naturally ages, naturally your talent level is going to go down. But like in something like ballet, where it's so like looks focused, you're getting pushed out the door, not because your talent is declining, but like because of...
They get sick of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
They're like, we need a fresh face. I think they literally say that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's such like I feel like sometimes the arts like are very unhealthy in that regard. Like Thomas, the director, whatever you want to call him, he's literally looking for something new, something fresh, something young. Do something that's never been done before. Like, all right, sit the fuck down.
Yeah. So then these dancers will like push themselves to the absolute limit.
Yeah.
Compromise their own beliefs and like their comfort level just to hopefully maybe make it.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's sad. But like if you're that passionate about something, like it's really hard because you want to try and make it.
Yeah.
But I feel like 99% of people don't. It's the same thing in like sports in a lot of ways. It's really fucked up.
Yeah.
And like on a side note from the financial standpoint too, which I didn't really think of as much, ballerinas, they don't get paid shit.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. And they work like 12-hour days.
Right.
And they just have to, they can't not work that much. Because if they don't, they're not going to have any chance of making it. But then how do they survive?
Yeah. And you're also probably, if you're on the elite side of things, like you're in the biggest, most expensive cities in the world. Like, no wonder frickin' Nina's living with her mom. I kept saying, like, come on, it's time to move out. But like,
how's she going to
she
afford
can't
that?
even at the lead as the lead. Like,
Yeah.
who knows what she's getting? And then your like point shoes are expensive, outfits, costumes, all of that. Like,
Yeah. I really don't know how it works. Like if you're in a dance company like that, I'm sure they provide
the costumes
a lot of that
and stuff. Yeah.
But if you're not at that level at like literally the most prestigious ballet company in the country, ballet, I know point shoes, you have to buy new ones like all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think they last very long.
Right.
And they're
I don't think so
expensive.
either. They're expensive. You also need to like essentially break them
Yeah.
to use them.
And,
like,
which is so crazy
Yeah.
to me. And it's so impressive, but it's so intense.
yeah.
And that's probably the reason why it's so impressive too.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I think all those like factors too add to kind of like obviously the movie and like her hallucinations, her like changing to the fucking Black Swan, like physically and stuff, like, but also those factors, they all just contribute to like the mind fuck of it all.
yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's a good way to transition into let's get to the bottom of this.
We've got to.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. I still have a lot of thinking to do on this.
Well, and look, as someone who's seen this movie a lot of times,
How many times have you seen it?
that's tough. Because I think I probably saw it for the first time when I was in like, let's see, 2010.
What?
No. That's when it came out. So I'm trying to think about like when I saw it.
It came out in 2010?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I probably saw it for the first time in like high school.
Okay, yeah.
But then I watched it like a lot because I became obsessed with it. So I probably have seen it like, I don't know, 10 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even
I've seen it once.
But even seeing it that many times, I'm not confident in any of it.
Yeah.
Because it fucks with your head. You have no idea what's real and what's not.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are your interpretations? Do you want to start? Do you want to?
I kind of want you to. I want you to start.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm really still having a tough time with this. I think like the biggest thing that we were discussing prior to this that we were still like struggling to interpret, and also like everyone sort of struggles to interpret, is one, I would say the way I thought about it was like what Nina is thinking throughout what's real and what's fake. But then also the ending is, I think, a big part of it. Like what that means, what actually happens. So I guess I'll start with my like interpretations of like her hallucinations. And at first, like before they started getting really crazy, I was kind of thinking of it as like, one, she just has like a mental illness. She is pushing herself to the absolute brink of exhaustion. She's not eating. She has an eating disorder. Like she is, unsurprisingly so, having these like hallucinations and, you know, getting all this mixed messaging and being assaulted and like all of these things that are extremely traumatic. So like no wonder it comes about in hallucinations about like good and evil and all of that stuff. But then they started to get real kind of crazy, like her like picking feathers out of her skin, her like seeing herself with wings, like all of that. So it almost then I was like, wait, it's like, is she like something haunted? She got a curse? Is she like actually changing into it? I just didn't really fully understand. And then I also brought up a point to Laurel where I was thinking like maybe she essentially like the plot is the plot of Swan Lake, her turning into the Black Swan, because that's like kind of what she's doing. But that's not actually Swan Lake. Like that's not the plot of it. But
Right. But I do think that it's supposed to kind of mirror
right.
that.
Mm-hmm. And like her like mental struggles and the hallucinations and being pushed to that brink is like causing her to, I guess,
Embody
be more
both of them.
evil and embody that. So I don't fucking know what's like actually real or fake.
Do you think she died?
Yeah. Yeah. I do. I think that especially because like I was mentioning, like the Swan Lake piece of it, in the end, yes, it's the like White Swan who kills herself. I think that like that is what happens in the end, because the other like kind of things that we were reading about it of what other people think happens like don't make fucking sense to me. I just think it's like following the trajectory of Swan Lake. And from the start, I was like, it seems like she is pushing herself to the brink of like someone who would be in like have suicidal thoughts, especially because that's the type of like vibe you get from Beth as well,
Right.
who was in her position prior. So I do think she dies. And I think I fucking just killed that interpretation. Your turn.
Yeah. I agree. I always thought that she dies at the end because that's what it makes you basically think.
Right.
And then we read online that like Natalie Portman thought that she didn't actually die. That was her interpretation of it. So then I was like, what? But I always thought she did. And especially because when Thomas is explaining kind of the general plot of Swan Lake to the like dance company during one of the rehearsals, he talks about how the white swan kills itself because it can only find freedom in death. And I just thought that was like really symbolic for Nina's entire journey. Like she's so trapped within her body, within her mind, within her home and her mom.
Yeah.
And like she can only finally break free at the end when she has like embodied the Black Swan, did it perfectly, and then does a really great White Swan too at the end.
Yeah.
And she's free because she was finally perfect. So it's like, what else does she have to live for it? Like in her own mind.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
So I feel like it wouldn't, sounds bad. Like I want her to die.
No, yes, I also get
the
what you're
plot.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Die for the plot.
Just do it for the plot.
Because then, like in my mind, trying to then figure out like next steps, if she didn't die, then what's the point?
Yeah.
What would come next for Nina? Nothing. She can't reach that level again.
No.
Just let her have it.
Yeah.
Let her die. You know?
Let it go.
Yeah, but the one thing that has always upset me about it or confused me the most is that if she really did break the mirror and then like stab and pull out part of the
Yeah.
mirror, how did that happen if there wasn't anyone else in there?
Right.
And if that was all a hallucination? Like, did she somehow push her body up against the mirror, break it, and then stab herself? That's the part that I'm like, there's got to be something else to it, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And she's bleeding in the dressing room, not bleeding on stage, then bleeding when she falls on the mattress too. So that was the part that I asked you about that confused me. And
Yeah.
obviously, who fucking knows?
Right.
No answers.
Yeah.
But I like that about some movies. This is the first one where we've had a couple of intellectual things to talk about,
I know.
think about.
I know. We'll see if the people like it.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, we really want you to actually start thinking critically
Yeah, instead of just running your fucking mouth.
and showing up in cat costumes.
You know what? I stand by it.
Me too.
I mean, we could probably go on for days and days about every scene in this movie, but
Yeah.
producer's telling us to wrap it up.
Wrap it
He's
up. It's a
pissed.
school night.
It's a school night. He's tired. Yeah, he's tired.
He's tired of this.
Yeah.
Makeup and hair and costuming all ran late today. No surprise there.
You think you're tired?
Imagine us. Well, anyways, that was episode 7?
We're on 7 already?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, you guys.
I'm impressed with us.
Yeah. I hope you are too.
And like we again slayed these costumes.
We did great.
Like we really didn't point them out as much. Please go check out our socials and us on YouTube.
Oh, and actually on Spotify.
Yes.
Because most of these, hopefully at this point,
Officially.
all of our episodes are video episodes on Spotify as well.
Yeah.
So you don't even, go to our YouTube too if you want to like do that.
Right.
Give us some views, but you can also just watch us on Spotify.
Yes.
Our videos are uploaded there as well. Yeah, because as we've said time and time again, we really thrive visually.
PK.
PK.
I guess that's another episode of A Bit
Bit niche. So thank you all for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this intellectual discussion and inspired you to give to the arts. Did you just get caught on yourself?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Fishnets.
So again, like, comment, and subscribe.
And leave us a comment, leave us a review, and ring that notification bell.
Ring that bell.